isn't bad on a road, but more like when as soon as we hit the grass, I notice her really going into a panicky space, you know.
Interesting.
And so, but when she's with her person though, then I don't think we're gonna see it
Yeah.
because you are the safe spot. But if she's alone or she's with people that she doesn't have a bond with yet, it's just panic and looking for somewhere to
Something.
hunker down,
Yeah.
somewhere safe.
Yeah.
You know.
My mom and I were talking last night on the phone, and she was amazed with one of the very first videos that you guys had shot with her of fleeing, and I'm like,
Yeah, she is.
Lucy's in fight or flight mode, and her thing is flight the whole. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, and I've seen it, and so, she understands the rules and everything within the training, which is great and simple, you know. The recall, the beep recall is what I was really focused on so that we could get her just in case she ever took off again.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the structure that you're going to be able to apply now is going to keep things really easy for both of you, her and you. I don't know what your family life looks like, how many people are in the house, how chaotic it can get, but
There's 4 of us, my husband and then my 2 boys, 8, and then we'll be a year.
oh, nice.
And I mean, it's rambunctious because it's.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to bother her.
She enjoys playing with. I mean, my
That's great.
8-year-old, she's.
That's good. So
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to have any problems like that there. I just think keeping the energy down, even while the environment's exciting, is just work in the beginning.
Yeah.
To teach her the rules of your living room.
Yeah.
I would say the same as ours. So that's what I would practice. The place command is going to be,
Number 1.
yeah, because that's where she's going to be able to spend a lot of time. If that's where she is going to spend a lot of time, is whatever room that's in, I'm sure. And you can use that in the beginning, kind of really strict, but then you'll wean off when you don't feel like you need it.
Okay.
But you want to be strict in the beginning to help her, because conversations are going to come up where she might
Yeah.
get her out of bed and try to go and play and stuff.
Yeah.
So I would actually have her use those situations with the kids to teach her to be calm in the bed while they're playing, and it's gonna look like putting her in place, having them play, letting them know you're gonna start and stop, okay?
Yeah.
When I say you have them play, she gets off the bed, you would have to correct it. If you don't feel comfortable in front of your kids correcting, no, some people don't, I don't know.
She is not a vocal dog, which is good.
No, she's
Yeah.
not.
So
Yeah,
probably they
you're not
won't
gonna
even
see-
know.
Not gonna
Yeah.
see anything, I don't think. But and then put her back on, and then have them play. So the message is sent, and once the message is sent, then you should be good.
Yeah.
You know, because she's very compliant for us.
That's good.
She has been the whole time. The only time I had resistance with her was when she was really committed to flight. She had already went in her head, wink, you know, and then at the end of the leash, and she sees me, but she doesn't know me that yet. Well, yeah, it took like 10 days before she was really
You can tell in
intimate
the
with me.
video. You
Yeah.
can tell, I mean, like, it
It took a
was
while.
every evening we were watching all of Lucy's videos, and I'm like, she actually seems like she's starting to warm up to
Yeah, I
that.
had to work for it though, and like spend time with her, you know, just hanging out and,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And she did warm up to me. But before that, if she was on the end of the leash, you know, she's just. So I don't think you're going to see any of that because I think it was a stranger thing. I think she didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
What we want to do today is get that beep to mean come to you, right? And get all the commands going smoothly with you so that you can then go and apply it at home. Should be pretty simple. If you're not doing something with her, it would be nice for her to be in a stay command, or if you really can't pay attention to her, have her relax and decompress in her kennel because she does like her own. Here, at least, she seems to enjoy her downtime. You know. And if you have any questions when you get home, if something doesn't feel like it's going good, just send us a message. You know,
Okay.
it's usually something small, and then we'll go from there. But we're gonna cover the walk, we're gonna cover place, and we're gonna cover recall, because those are the big ones. You know, she's taken away from her home and put in a room with strangers. Then you get to see how they feel without the pack around.
Yeah.
And I felt some very heavy tension from her because she did not know what I was going to do to her, and I think she thought that I was going to do something bad.
Yeah.
So that was immediate as soon as I went up to her. So I just made sure I, you know,
Yeah.
shined her shoes a little bit. I was
Yeah.
just like letting her have that, and I put the collars on because I had a feeling it was just because it was stranger danger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She knows me now though, and we don't have any problems when she knows you. But it took a while to form a relationship, and that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
But it sounds like she's got a good family, and everything's going good. So I just want to get the basics going to show you how this works.
Yeah.
Just so it's really quite simple. There's really 2 ways to use it. To correct a dog for doing something wrong. That's like the barking out the windows and stuff. But that's probably going to be really rare once you get run a tighter ship, right? The other way to use it is to correct for non-compliance, and there's a little bit of a system. Not much though. It's the same thing as how we get in trouble. There's a little bit of a hierarchy. So you'd ask her to do a command. So I'd say, Sarah, sit, and we're going to pretend you're not sitting. And you don't listen. You don't sit. So I waited 1 Mississippi. So Sarah, sit.
Okay.
Sit, and that might produce you to look at me and say yes, and then sit, and then you'd sit. But let's say the situation is you did hear me, but you still choose not to listen because maybe something else is going on. So I'd say, Sarah, sit, sit, and then I noticed you didn't do it,
So then you hire,
Sit.
you make it.
right? Okay. Now that one's a common situation because they're distracted, like mildly distracted, and then I bring my numbers back down for the
Okay.
next conversation. You know what I mean? I'm not just
Yeah.
going to start right up, especially if it's like an hour from now.
Right.
So, the other one is though, is like now the dog's not doing well. It's being pushy. Okay, so it's obviously not listening. I would start the numbers. The interesting thing about the numbers is if we got to talk about state of mind in a second. Don't let me forget before we go outside. But let's just go with the practical thing here. Sarah, sit again, and that's where I started. Sit, and then completely blowing me off. Sit.
Okay.
Good. And then my numbers are going down.
Gotcha.
Okay. Simple.
Yeah.
But you can go up and you can go down. You have control
Right.
of where, and you're just gonna look at Lucy's response.
Yeah.
If you hit, like, you're gonna 16, right? Maybe I put that on her and I start at 16 and it's way too high.
Yeah.
The way to, the thing that throws people off is her state of mind will affect, just like yours will affect how you feel the stem.
Okay.
If you were adrenalized, just got into a bar fight or something, we always use that one,
Yeah.
you're probably not gonna, you're gonna be like, I still don't feel it. And I'm like, I'm at 62.
Right.
Right? So if she's adrenalized, it'll have to be higher just to,
Right.
for her to hear it, right? Just to feel it.
Yeah.
You understand how to correct for the commands. But
Mhm.
the mind can be corrected for elevating as well, which is cool as part of her training. So if she's calm, she's golden. But as soon as she starts to get puffed up, you can actually, you can say the word no, you can shush like I've done. That has a lot of power because I've used it a lot. You can shush and then give some low. Can you feel that?
Mm-hmm. Just a little bit.
But you didn't feel that. What's funny is you didn't feel that number in the beginning when I sat you down. You felt it after you got a heavy one, after you got a heavy correction. And same with the dogs. After a heavy correction, they generally feel the numbers they didn't feel before. Lower.
Interesting.
Because now you're aware.
Now you're in
You're-
tune.
you're
I'm in
paying-
tune with
You're
it.
paying attention to the sensation because
Yeah.
that's how we communicate. Like, imagine if this is how we communicate all day long, then you're paying attention to it. That's your,
Right.
your bell, right? So if I see Lucy starting, even on place, she's laying down, but she's starting to, you'll see I'll be able to start at something low, and she might feel it and just say thank you and it go down, but she might not feel it. And then I'd go from that 11 if she didn't feel it. I'd scroll.
Mm-hmm.
I just went from 11 into the 20s now. And then I see her kind of feel it, tune into reality, and then she relaxes. So I can tell the mind to relax. That's just, that's a game changer right there.
Yeah.
Because if she starts to get elevated, you can just keep saying, no, you're not allowed to go into that space while you're on the bed. And then she learns that. So that's how it's working. And then one last piece, because you got a video to watch, thank God, because this is actually quite a bit, but they fit together nicely. So now you got her on the place bed, and you have her calm, but somebody knocks at the door, okay? And she gets up and just makes the big mistake and barks and just steps off the bed. As soon as so you have to identify what the rules are. She's not allowed to elevate in her energy. That's the rule. She can't just go from this to, that's against the rules.
Right.
So that right there gets corrected, that action. And then of course she breaks more rules of stepping off the bed
Mm-hmm.
and then barking, which is also it. So that's 3 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So what we don't want to do is then start saying command, whatever it is, calm, sit down. We punish that act first, so correct,
Right.
and then we settle her down,
Right.
and then we direct her. So it's less of this. She gets up, knock, calm, sit, hang on, Lucy, come, please, come.
Right.
So well, sorry, hang on. It's more like this. Knock.
Right.
Shh. Silence. I'll be right there. Place.
Mm-hmm.
Tap if I have to. Place. Very. I'm assertive with her a little, but it's calm.
Right.
It's not over the top. She'll pay attention to you like this. Even if the kids are crazy, you can tell them to be quiet too if you want. She should be able to ignore all that and look at you and point at the bed, and she gets on the bed.
Okay.
Good girl. See, that's the thing. When she gets on the bed, she's a good girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then we answer the door. And then she's gonna mess up again, because this is why we want you to set it up and practice it.
Right.
And she thinks it's the real deal, so you can teach her the rules by telling her, don't do that. Is that clear? Cool, do that.
Right.
And that's the work on your part to get it clear to her.
Mm-hmm.
Once it's clear, I don't think she's gonna fuss with you too much. She's really compliant.
Really?
She's a sweetheart.
Really.
As long, well, you'll have something she cares about.
Yeah.
So if she's not, she's not staying on there because she loves you.
Right.
Just like
She's
you're not
staying
staying
on
within
there
the
because
speed
I
limit.
told her to.
Because she knows
Yeah.
there's a consequence that you can deal. Because even if you told her, but there was never a consequence you cared about, I don't think many dogs would stay.
Yeah.
It has the same with speeding.
Right.
If they suggested it,
Right.
then some people would
Yeah.
go the speed limit. Most people don't.
Yeah.
But because it's a heavy penal system, I mean, you can lose your license quick if you just have a bad week. You're just like, I'm gonna keep speeding. It's just over. So when she steps off, all she needs to be concerned with is that there's going to be a punisher on the collar, and she hops back on.
Right.
And as long as she believes that, you're
And
good.
she knows that.
She has to know it, and it can't just be because you said so. Actually, it has to be, well, even when mom leaves the room. So you have to be tricky. You have to leave the room and kind of keep an eye on her on your phone. She starts to step off the first time because you know she's going to. And then she gets corrected. You see, you got on the bed because the training did that for you. And she's just like, I was just checking.
Yeah. Just see.
I was just seeing. This is how it works. So if you can play with it a little bit, if you get time away with the kids not there, so it's easier.
Right.
Nice quiet house to set the rules, and then introduce some distractions while it's still quiet. Whatever you can come up with, knocks on the door, little fake things.
Yeah.
And then you can get the kids involved, you know, and use them as a distraction so she understands that you need to, if she can stay on that bed while the kids are playing, I'm pretty sure she's going to be solid for everything else, because that's intense,
Yeah.
you know, she can do it.
Yeah.
And then just tell them, hey, when she's on the bed, just
That's
let her
the
be,
rule.
because as she gets older, she's going to want her space, and that's her space, that's her comfy space. And that's really it. Get it set up in the house, and I'm pretty sure she's going to do well. The walk, we just want to make sure she understands to walk with you and don't pull you around.
Mm-hmm.
When you say break, she can go out and she can do her thing. She can, but as soon as you say come, it's back to heel, and then to the next break. We give her her body break.
Yes.
And I think that's going to clean up just about everything that you had issues with. But if you do feel like you need us, let us know in the
Well,
future.
You're in Frederick, right?
Yes. Yeah.
No
We'll
problem.
give you a little rundown of how to use it. It's real simple. And Julie's
Let's
on.
go do
Julie
it.
is available at all times.
Oh, yeah. I'm always available.
Especially the